Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new spoiler, our last spoiler breakdown of the Disney Plus MCU show Hawkeye. Just finished up its 6 episode, 5 week show here on Disney Plus, the last MCU basically show or movie of 2021. So welcome back to Max Talk Movies. We're going to break down this episode. Pretty big episode. I think a lot of people are left with a fun show. Some people disappointed. We're going to break down my thoughts in just a second. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, streaming platform reviews, movie rankings, and a box office breakdown show. So please subscribe, ring the bell. Also, if you're new, I've already done all 5 episodes, each of them broken down. Episodes 1 through 2, 3, 4, 5, each have their own videos here already on the channel. So you can click that link at the end of the video, which is my TV show review playlist. You'll find all my reviews, including all of the MCU shows from this year, including Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, What If, and Loki. So let's talk about, also please comment down below your spoiler thoughts. Were you one of the people who were disappointed with this finale? Were you one of those people who are good with the finale? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please also leave the thumbs up button, guys. The thumbs up, it's the best way to support this channel. Let's talk Hawkeye. So for me, this was a solid end of the show. Is this the best episode? No, I don't think it was the worst episode of the show. There was definitely a lot left to be desired, and that's kind of been my overall major issue with the MCU finale episodes, that they set up so much stuff, because a lot of the shows like WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, and Hawkeye are both 6 episodes or 8 episodes. It just feels like they don't have enough time to wrap everything up, and you could definitely feel that in this episode. Now, there was a lot of greatness in this episode, especially when you're opening up with basically Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin is a threat throughout the entire episode. I was kind of shocked how much he was in it. Is in the opening scene with Eleanor, where Eleanor reveals that she is the one who set up the killing of Armand. She is the one who framed Jack. But the fact that her daughter is kind of getting into it and understanding what she's doing, that's a bit too far. So she tells Kingpin that I'm done. This is it. Obviously, that means Kingpin will never let you just walk away freely. So he's going to kill her. That's kind of the setup for the episode. Then we kind of get the scene with Kingpin and Echo, where Maya kind of walks up to him. They're kind of having this conversation. She said, I need to take a break, whatever it is. And Kingpin knows that something is up with her. So then that sets up the fact that also Kate's like, Hawkeye, this has become it's my family's problem. And this is where Clint finally says that I'm your partner. Anything that's your problem, it's my problem. Which was a really good, really rewarding to see them finally acknowledge that. And they go to the dinner scene at the party at the Rockefeller Center in New York, where we saw Spider-Man swinging through at the end of No Way Home. But again, he's not in the show whatsoever. So we kick off with the show with this episode, basically the fact that the tension is that the Tracksuit Mafia are all going after Eleanor. And this is where Kate and Clint want to meet them there and not do this. So we have a really fun action scene, but at the same time, Yelena is also in the mix, because Yelena is going after Clint, and now Jack is back from prison this episode, carrying around. So now I thought the Jack stuff this season was very funny, but it just didn't amount to anything. They were really heavily setting up that he was the person who killed Armand. He kind of just becomes a joke in this last episode. Again, Tony Dalton is doing a fantastic job. It's not the actor whatsoever. Jack's a very fun character, but because the way they set up Jack in this season for being a real serious but potential threat, he just kind of seemed like a joke in this episode. He was one of the storylines that just did not get finished up in this episode. They kind of had too much to do. Another one is the number one person for Kingpin, the number one person for Maya, who now learns the number one person for Kingpin. His whole subplot also just never really came together. Maya kind of figured everything out really quickly after Clint told her that basically Kingpin was the one who told Hawkeye to kill Maya's dad. It just felt like it was another subplot where it just did not go anywhere this episode, with the fact that he was attacking Clint, and then Maya kind of fought him and killed him. It wasn't as emotional or as emotionally resonant as you can tell the show wanted it to be, especially because they wanted that Maya and his relationship to be really good. It didn't really come through all the way. But other than those couple negatives, it's a really fun episode from start to finish, where Clint and Kate are wearing their costumes that were made by the LARPers this season at the end. Yelena and Kate deserve their own show together. The chemistry is off the charts between Haley Steinfeld and Florence Pugh, and they get more time to interact in this episode, just like last week. And this time they have a huge fight scene that starts in an elevator that goes through the halls, and then Alicia Elena kind of jumping out of the building. Really, really funny, but also some really good action between Kate and Elena, which I thought was really, really well done. You can actually take Kate a lot more seriously in this episode than most episodes from an action point of view. Same time, Clint is trying to escape the number one henchman's shot. So he sets off the purple thing in his room, and Clint is on the tree. Kate kind of lets her down. They start taking out the people on the ice rink, which is a really, really fun scene, having Kate slide in. The a very Avengers-like shot with them, side by side, teaming up. This then leads to the coolest shot, probably the entire season for me, which is this, the truck from the tracksuits comes flying in to run them over, and Kate shoots the pin particle, which makes them very small, which I thought was definitely one of the best shots of the entire season. Because it really looked like they were going to get run over, and it was a nice shot to that really small. Then Al picks them up and leaves. Really nice trick arrows. We used a lot of different types of trick arrows, and I thought the variety of them really, really worked as well. But this then leads to them separating. Kate finds Eleanor after Kingpin was about to take Eleanor, and Kingpin and Kate have a whole action scene. So I can definitely tell that people could be lost if you're not familiar with the Kingpin character, why he takes an arrow shot to the stomach and it does nothing to him. And he really is built with it's not like he's built with overly muscles. That's why he like towers over everyone. It's all muscle. So that's why Kingpin can kind of fight everyone off. So it was a really actually fun seeing Vincent D'Onofrio, really the whole episode of him fighting with Kate, and the reveal of him trying to go after Eleanor. This then leads to Kate with that trick arrow, with the help of that, coin flip that she learned a couple episodes ago, gets that couple of trick arrows to go and blow up in front of Kingpin. But Kate is the one who calls the cops on Eleanor, which led to a funny one where Eleanor is like, for Christmas, I didn't think my child would ask for my arrest. So Eleanor goes into prison. Kate's totally cool with that, but she still loves her mom, which then moves into Clint's aspect, which is Clint is taking on Yelena. And this is definitely the most emotional scene of the entire series thus far, which was basically Clint and Yelena kind of talking it out what happened with Natasha. And the reason why, and Clint uses the whistle that we learned from Black Widow, and Yelena's kind of like, how do you know all this stuff? And he kind of says like Natasha always talked about her and always wanted her to be safe. And you can kind of feel the emotion coming up from both actors, but also it's an emotional scene that I didn't cry or anything, but it got me very emotionally invested in the story. Where Yelena kind of doesn't like throw away what Clint has done, but learns how much, Natasha cared for really both of them. She kind of realizes why Natasha spent a lot of time with Clint, that, he got a lot of the time with Clint, but then Clint kind of talks about how, she always wanted to make sure Yelena was safe and always talked about her. So that was a really nice emotional scene, just great performance from, again, Florence Pugh, who steals everything that she's in, steals every scene that she is in this season. Can't wait for more Yelena in the MCU. And we don't know where this leads her. She kind of just leaves. She picks Hawkeye up and then she kind of leaves. So I wonder if that will get her in trouble with Val. We did not get a post-credit scene this episode, so we don't know where Yelena will go next in the MCU. As we continue to move on, Clint takes Kate home with her for Christmas. Again, her mom's now in prison, her father's dead. It kind of makes perfect sense. Her and Lucky, the dog, go to Clint's family house. We finally learn that it was Laura's watch from the opening episode, and it has behind it the logo of S.H.I.E.L.D. So it's definitely Laura's watch, and that's how Clint and Laura met. But it's nice seeing Kate and Clint kind of taking her home for her, because again, they are a team now. They're partners, as Clint said, and that leads for exciting adventures coming next in the MCU for the two of them. They kind of goes off talking about what Kate's name should be. Then the mid-credit scene for the only one we've gotten so far for the season is this episode, where we get basically the full musical, the full scene, no cutting away of Rogers the musical. And that's where the show ends. So if this is my second favorite MCU show, if I had to rank them so far, it would go Loki, Hawkeye, WandaVision, What If, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier for me. So Hawkeye, I had such a blast. It's so nice not having a blow up the world MCU story in the MCU with just Hawkeye and Kate going after New York people and the crimes. And I really did like the idea. I know not all, obviously, it really did limit itself by only being 6 episodes. It felt like it should have been a longer episode. There's a lot of rushed subplots that just kind of get forgotten about in this last episode. I think Marvel needs to know this heading into next year, that fans have been really disappointed with most of the finales with their shows. And hopefully next year things start turning around. I don't think this finale is a bad finale. I know it's a really solid finale, but for me, the last couple of weeks have been better than this one. But that's my thoughts and overall thoughts on Hawkeye. I really did solidly enjoy the show. A fun show to turn your brain off for 50 minutes in a week. And 2 really great performances in the lead with Bart, with Renner, and Steinfeld. So that's my thoughts on Hawkeye. Please subscribe, ring the bell, comment, like the video. Coming tomorrow, a couple things. My Matrix Resurrections non-spoiler review will be coming out. And then the following day, once I sit on it, I should have a review. I should have my full 4-movie Matrix ranking. And then as well, we're going to end with probably a Kingsman review and Don't Look Up on Friday. So a lot coming out. I'll see you guys.